You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the Maple Leaf Parade pushed through rainy forecasts in Carthage, why organizers say this year's celebration was still a big success and how the community kept the festival spirit alive.
Also, a homecoming parade brings splashes of color to Girard. Even on a rainy day, what made this year's fall festival extra special and the events that had the whole community celebrating.
And take a look at that sunrise, a gorgeous start to the day. We are not tracking thunderstorm chances, unfortunately, or fortunately. I think after Saturday, I think it's fortunate. But we do have a very windy day out there. We're going to break down those details and this dry cold front thing coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 o'clock on this Monday, October the 20th. Happy October Monday 20th, whatever. You know, it actually felt like fall over the weekend. Now, I know we had those strong and even some severe storms on Saturday, which didn't stop the festivities, but did disrupt some things. But today, very windy. We'll get to that in a moment, but some protests taking place.
Yeah, you may have seen them in Pittsburgh and Joplin, but thousands of people gathered under the Space Needle this weekend, taking part in a nationwide No Kings protest against President Trump. Alex McClune showed us how Seattle's crowd turned out and why many say their fight is just beginning.
Under the Space Needle, thousands rallied around another No Kings protest, marching against President Trump's moves toward authoritarianism.
Benjamin Franklin was asked what kind of a government they were establishing.
Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal told a crowd as far as the eye could see that Franklin's warning rings true today.
She famously answered, "A republic, if you can keep it."
Donald Trump has got to go. Ho, ho.
The president's second term is defined by immigration crackdowns and an institutional overhaul. Organizers say the No Kings movement is growing from a few thousand nationwide just months ago to what they call the largest protest in U.S. history.
Tens of thousands of people are making the 2 to 3 mile march through downtown Seattle.
If I don't fight, who will?
We're doing it with nothing but love and just showing up.
It's like every day you look in the newspaper, there's like 2 or 3 things, at least big things happening that's showing erosion of our democracy.
SNAP is being cut.
For the chair of the King County Council, it was more than a protest. Gurmai Zaile was raised by Sudanese refugees in South Seattle.
We lived low income in South Seattle and in Skyway, but because of HUD investments in affordable housing, we had a roof over our head. Because of Medicaid, we had health care. Because of SNAP, we had food on the table. Because of Pell Grants, I got to go to college. And now, just one piece at a time, all of those foundational programs are being chipped away.
At the local level, county officials are taking legal action and redirecting funds to fight back against the president's devastating cuts, while No Kings Day unites and drives opposition tens of thousands strong.
Tens of thousands rallied in Seattle for No Kings Day, marching against President Trump's immigration policies and institutional overhauls in what organizers call the largest protest in U.S. history.
Organizers say they'll continue to fight back through the courts and community action. Again, a lot to keep an eye on out there for sure. And you need to keep an eye on your steering wheel, especially if you're east or west traveling, as we've got some very gusty south winds expected today. Let's start though with that live look of an absolutely amazing sunrise from downtown Pittsburgh. We have clear skies. Clear skies will be the dominant factor today as well, just like yesterday. Now, here's the deal. We got a low pressure system off to one side. We have a dry cold front off to the other. We're sandwiched in between. That's why those winds are really going to start to ramp up. But it's also why, at least today, we're going to be a little warmer. Our camera 7th in range line. You can see the trees against the sunrise already starting to sway back and forth. MoDOT camera 20th in range line in Joplin. Now, bear in mind, again, when it is zoomed in like this, it's going to be much more sensitive to the wind, but you can see it also starting to sway a bit. Wind advisories through 1 o'clock this afternoon for the counties in tan, and that is associated with the south winds gusting upwards of 50 miles an hour in some cases. So we're talking about putting your trash can down the street, especially if today's like your trash day or you're setting it out tomorrow. So make sure it is anchored and well secured. Again, today, south winds gusting to 50 for some of us. And then after that dry cold front, winds ease up a bit and shift out of the northwest, gusting to 25. So you'll see those wind arrows. And then by 4, here comes that dry front. And what we mean is simply there's no rain with it. Future Track thinks maybe a cloud or two possible with the front, but that's going to be about the extent of it. Winds will shift out of the northwest back behind it and still be a bit breezy out there. Our temperatures this morning, a bit above normal. In fact, many of us above normal. We should be upper 40s. We got a lot of locations low to mid 50s. We do have Bentonville, Monette, and Stockton all at 49. That's as close as we can get to average out there, but again, it's going to be above average later today. Upper 50s by 9, low 70s by noon, upper 70s for our highs. South winds sustained 20 to 30. Outside of the wind advisory, though, wind gusts still upwards of 40 miles an hour. Within the wind advisory areas, upwards of 50. So do be cautious out there. Gusty winds again continue tonight into tomorrow, but this dry cold front drops not only our temperatures tonight, but for tomorrow. Details in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The Maple Leaf Parade went off as planned this weekend in Carthage, despite early concerns about rain in the forecast. More than 115 entries, including local schools, first responders, and businesses, joined the celebration, though some attendees said the crowd was smaller than usual due to the weather. The Carthage Chamber of Commerce says the community's creativity and support made this year's parade a success, with floats embracing the City of Pure Imagination theme. After the parade, festival goers continue to enjoy shops, activities, and the classic car show. Girard, Kansas hosted a parade of its own as part of its fall festival and homecoming celebration. Coincidentally, on this wet day, the theme was Under the Sea. This parade was a highlight, but certainly not the only event. Other activities scheduled included a Harley show, a tractor pull, a cakewalk, and live music.
A time to relax after the busy season of all the summer hoopball and stuff, and just relaxing. A lot of the graduating classes are here today, and just reminiscing and enjoying each other.
In addition to that parade and various activities, Girard's Fall Festival included more than 50 vendors. Across the world, Google Street View cameras have been quietly snapping photos for nearly 2 decades, mapping streets but also capturing moments no one expected. From a motorcycle crash caught in midair to a tiger on the loose, some of those candid, chaotic, and captivating moments are being celebrated as accidental street art at a new exhibit in Denmark. Curators say the collection invites us to rethink how we see technology and the surprising stories it records. If you're looking for fun fall events but don't know where to turn, we've got you covered. Just scan this handy QR code on your screen and head straight to the events page of our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. You'll find information on all kinds of family fun events, including fall festivals and some scary and not so scary haunted houses. That's the events page at KOAMnewsnow.com. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, with Ukraine's counteroffensive stalled and Russia feeling the squeeze from drone strikes and fuel shortages, pressure is building on both sides to end the war. And later, a new study reveals that topping Nation Watch this morning, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and U.S. President Donald Trump remain split over the future of the conflict in Ukraine. That's after the two leaders met for several hours of talks in the White House on Friday. As Matthew Chance reports, Russia may now have extra incentive to talk.
In terms of what else is going to have changed, well, it's unclear. At the moment, there's a few things I suppose you could point to. The idea that Putin and his military have not made the kind of military advances that they anticipated they would make on the ground inside Ukraine during their summer offensive. There's been increased economic pressure in Russia with the success of Ukrainian drone strikes on oil facilities and things like that. There have been fuel shortages, and so that's adding a pressure onto it. I think to some extent President Trump is reinvigorated as well after the success diplomatically that is enjoyed sort of in the Middle East with the Israeli ceasefire and the release of the Israeli hostages. But in terms of, what Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, is prepared to accept, I'm not sure anything's changed at all, certainly publicly. The Kremlin hasn't indicated it's prepared to compromise on any of its core military objectives. President Trump, in a Truth Social post, which you would have all seen by now, saying that he thinks that the conflict should freeze along the lines where the front lines currently are, at least sort of hinting at that. That may well be acceptable to the Ukrainian side if there are security guarantees and if there's the backing of Ukraine's European supporters. But it's not clear at all whether that's going to be acceptable to the Russian side. Vladimir Putin has made it clear he wants all of the territory he's annexed and a say over the future foreign policy decisions of Ukraine.
That's a look at some of today's top national stories. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:15 now on this Monday morning. And we're starting with this. This is our wind advisory. This is a different graphic we haven't used a lot so far, but we do have for the counties in tan, this wind advisory runs through 1 o'clock. That is for south winds that could be gusting upwards of 50 miles an hour through the morning into the early afternoon hours. Outside of that, again, the wind doesn't just suddenly stop once you cross the county line, but it will be just below wind advisory criteria, so we're talking gusts upwards of about 40. So the wind tracker, again, it does occasionally go a little overboard, I think. In fact, we had to tone it down a bit from this morning because it was showing 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts. We are not dealing with hurricane force winds today. But this is about on par. What we have going on is we have a low pressure system over off on one side, and we have an approaching dry cold front. And because we're sandwiched in between, it causes the isobars. If you ever watch, you'll see those little white lines, and those are the isobars. And when they get really close together, that's what causes these wind speeds to increase. So the front, as it approaches, winds briefly ease up right behind it, but they'll pick back up on the other side. So by 6, it's sliding through the area, and on the backside, our winds tonight into tomorrow, still gusting, but not as strong, upwards of about 20 to 25 miles an hour in most cases. So here's a better view just of that front approaching. There's all the wind, not much out there. That's why it's a dry front. Could get a couple of clouds as it pushes through, but by 5, see that wind shift line, gusty northwest winds, gusty south winds, and also with the gusty south winds, that's why we're going to be a little above normal today as well. But then once we get on the other side of this front, not above normal tomorrow. In fact, a bit below, as we'll go into the upper 60s for most of us for our highs. We go Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Look at this. Low 40s. So now our lows are below normal as well going into Wednesday. So be prepared for a bit of a chilly start. By Wednesday, though, we do warm back up a bit, but not above average. Most of us should be low to mid 70s, which is right about where we should be. So again, not bad. We're finally settling into a fall-like pattern. All right, another view of that sunrise. Great colors out there, looking good. Clear skies, and also the trees, you can see already starting to pick up just a bit. Winds will increase in the next couple hours across the region. Low 50s to start. We'll go into the upper 60s by 11 o'clock this morning. Above normal today, with that south wind, upper 70s, and again, sustained south winds, 20 to 30, with those gusts upwards of 50 for some of us. So if you're driving a high-profile vehicle on any east-west highways, you just want to be cautious. And even some smaller ones, they're talking about some SUVs, maybe minivans, are a little susceptible to these kinds of winds as well. So you just want to make sure you got a good hold on the wheel. Make sure you're paying attention as you travel today. Now, because of the front, as it goes through, some of us may be a little cooler than these numbers, a little earlier than these times. But as the front pushes through, we eventually all will drop back into the low 40s tonight. Northwest winds again gusting upwards of 25. And they'll do that again tomorrow. Clear skies, as mentioned, upper 60s, low 70s on Wednesday. Got some storm chances Thursday into Friday. Some clouds this weekend. Next week, though, we warm back up briefly. More storm chances Monday and Tuesday, but this is another front coming through. And this one, still several days out, but we just want to be keeping an eye. Could get us down into the upper 30s for highs, upper 30s for lows. Upper 50s for highs by the second half of next week. So get ready as it's about to get cold. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more after this.
Today in Health Watch. New research suggests people with advanced lung or skin cancer who got the COVID-19 vaccine live significantly longer than people who didn't. A University of Florida study found cancer patients who got the COVID vaccine within 100 days of starting immunotherapy drugs saw their survival rates nearly double. It's believed the COVID mRNA vaccine may wake up the immune system against cancer as well. People who are considered skinny fat may have a bigger risk of heart disease. A McMaster University study found even some people who appear lean may have hidden fat deep in the abdomen and liver that damages arteries. This type of fat also increases the risk of diabetes and high blood pressure. The study shows that body mass index and waistline size only tell part of the story. A new approach to helping prevent peanut allergies in kids appears to be working. Children's Hospital of Philadelphia says food allergy rates among kids are declining since new guidelines went into place. The new guidelines advise parents to introduce peanuts to infants early, which is shown to lower their risk of developing peanut allergies by more than 80%. A growing number of adults are choosing to start a family or expand it later in life. While advanced maternal age carries some added risks, in today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has one woman's story and why her doctor says having an uncomplicated pregnancy at an advanced age is possible.
At age 42, Melissa Holmes was set to get a hysterectomy to help with the pain of fibroids. Instead, she got the shock of her life.
About 2 weeks prior to everything being finalized through insurance and things, I found out I was pregnant.
Holmes already had a 22-year-old son from the first time she was pregnant. She wasn't planning to expand her family. And there was one more concern, her age.
When you're older and you're having a baby, you worry about, side effects. Is the baby going to be healthy? Is something going to be wrong with the baby? Or am I going to be able to survive this pregnancy?
It all depends on the health of the individual.
Holmes' OBGYN, Dr. Natasha Spencer with Orlando Health, says women in their 30s and 40s who don't have major underlying medical conditions and have a healthy lifestyle can have an uncomplicated pregnancy. But experts say overall, when compared to those of younger ages, women of advanced maternal age are at higher risk of complications like gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, labor problems, cesarean delivery. Older women are also at risk of delivering preterm or a child with low birth weight.
That women should, if it's definitely within their heart's desire to speak with their obstetrician gynecologist about pregnancy, despite them being older.
On December 19th, 2023, Holmes delivered a healthy baby boy.
I couldn't imagine my life without him.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dr. Spencer says if a person of advanced maternal age wants to get pregnant and does have a medical condition, make sure those conditions are under control. If you're on certain medications, she says you may also consider making sure they're ones that are safe in pregnancy, and make sure to start a prenatal vitamin to get your body in its best shape possible for a healthy pregnancy. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. I'm Samantha Walker. A beloved staff member at an Iowa school got a special surprise. Mick Good has worked at East Marshall Elementary School in Laurel for 66 years. On Friday, students and staff and others in the community wanted to make sure his 86th birthday was one to remember. Kayla James has more.
To learn or work within the walls of East Marshall Elementary School is to know what it takes to keep the building running.
Their day changes every day, and it is a busy day, whether it's breakfast, lunch, cleaning the hallways, cleaning the classrooms.
And that, Principal Mark Albertson says, is just during the school year. During the summer,
They empty all the classrooms, scrub them down really good, put them back in for the teachers to be ready for at the beginning of the school year.
East Marshall Elementary School, which has around 300 students,
We'll go in here.
has 2 custodians, and one of them
I get here about 4:45 in the morning.
has worked in education in some capacity for 68 years
And I taught school for 18 years.
and is the prime example of the saying, age is just a number.
I'm 86 and I'm still pretty good.
Mick Good has his routine down to a T.
I vacuum the building while the head custodian cleans the bathrooms. And then he leaves at 1 normally, and I come back, and I'm here in case somebody gets sick, and then I pick up garbage.
But on Friday afternoon, when he returned just before 1,
You've got a lot of people here supporting you.
Oh, I know that.
he was met with a sight he didn't expect. Students sitting in the playground near a decorated fence, staff dressed in shirts with a picture of him dressed as Elvis on front, and friends and family.
Love you.
Love you too. Ready and waiting to celebrate his 86th birthday.
A few months ago, I asked you what one of your favorite trees was. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do, kind of vaguely.
A tree dedication ceremony was the main event, with some of the very same students Mick loves to interact with doing the planting.
You see him around the kids. He's giving fist bumps to the kids.
The birthday celebration came with gifts.
On behalf of the New York Yankees,
like a card with a message from Mick's favorite baseball team, and a written message from students. Thank you, Mick. Was near and dear to Mick's heart.
Well, I just enjoy the kids, you know.
And they're genuine. Especially in their singing to celebrate him. The entire thing.
Hello. Oh, they're throwing a big party for me here at school.
A complete surprise to Mick, who may be 86.
Could I change these numbers around to 68?
But is so full of life and kindness to share.
he would give you the shirt off his back if he could. He is just a very giving individual.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Someone who gives his time by dressing up as Elvis during Elvis Week and giving gifts to students and staff. Gives his time to keep the halls of East Marshall Elementary School clean. And gives his time.
Happy birthday! Yes, thank you.
To make sure those he comes in contact with always have a good day.
Here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Now, we've got a very nice sunrise out there from downtown Pittsburgh. These guys, look at that camera. That wind's really starting to ramp up now. I'm sure that this is safe and secure. It's just for me. And Sam and I were talking about this. We're like, we don't like heights as it is, but to get up on something, I'm sure it's wobbling a bit. It's got to be a little unnerving. But outside of that, looks great out there. Our camera 7th in range line. You can see the trees blowing in the breeze here against sunrise as well. MoDOT camera 20th in range line. Now again, remember, when they have it zoomed in like this, it's obviously much more sensitive to the swaying, but nonetheless, moving around out there as it is breezy. So school buses, tractor trailers, large profile, high profile vehicles, you've got to be cautious out there because it's going to be very breezy. Wind advisories for the counties in tan through 1 o'clock today. So if my trash day is not until Friday, so my trash can is secure, but if yours has to be out, you want to make sure it's in a good spot or it's at least as secure as it can be, because otherwise you might as well just say goodbye to it, because in that zone, wind gusts out of the south upwards of 50 miles an hour. Now later this evening and overnight into our Tuesday, winds ease up, start gusting upwards of 25, but it's still going to be breezy. And what's going on is here's this dry cold front by 4. So what we've got is a low pressure to our southeast, dry cold front coming in, and in between, we're sandwiched between those two features, and that's giving us those gusty winds. Now once that dry cold front pushes through, winds will become, they'll still be gusty, but they'll be better. Above normal for many of us this morning should be the upper 40s, many of us in the low to mid 50s. Cassville, the cold spot at 46, and that's actually pretty close to normal. Bentonville, Monette, both sitting at 49. We'll go upper 50s by 9, low 70s by noon, mid to upper 70s for our highs. South winds sustained 20 to 30. And again, for some of us, gusts upwards of 50 miles an hour. Now, this is a dry cold front, so no rain, but it does get pretty darn chilly. Details on that in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Thanks, Chris. Hundreds of Joplin High School seniors discover their academic efforts have paid off in an unexpected way. Nearly 600 seniors are receiving scholarship money through View Scholarships. Unlike traditional scholarship funds, the students were automatically entered into the Kansas City-based program, with their GPA and SAT scores earning the money for partnering colleges.
The ultimate goal is, if you know you're going to college, we want to assist in that process and take some of that burden away from the kids and the families and the parents, because a lot of times they don't know where to turn. But the partnership with Youth Scholarships has really increased the opportunities for kids.
In addition, representatives from several colleges were on hand for students to speak to and learn about their programs. This is the third year that Joplin High School has participated with View. To get ready to celebrate Halloween, a teacher in Parsons, Kansas has a spooky stage set up for students to experience. The stage is filled with animatronics, complete with witches, ghouls, and more. The famous rat hole in Chicago may have been misidentified all along. The animal-shaped imprint that went viral last year drew crowds from across the country, but researchers now say it wasn't a rat at all. After analyzing the mark size and shape, scientists found there's a 99% chance it was actually left by a squirrel. They say the outline is too large for a rat, and since there were no footprints, it's likely the animal fell from a tree onto the wet cement. It's not just another weekend for a Michigan nurse. She's turning 50, but she's also meeting a big goal she set for herself 15 years ago. Jolie Sherman has her story.
I see a race and I can't not sign up.
Michelle Floyd absolutely loves to run. And for several years, she's been working toward an ambitious goal, run 50 full or half marathons in all 50 states. But it meant making some major life changes to make that happen.
I became a travel nurse to complete this goal. It's 100% reason why I quit my staff nursing job, because my staff nursing job I wasn't able to take PTO because they were short-staffed all the time. So I had to say goodbye to my favorite place I worked to complete my goal, and it worked.
The Kansas native was 35 years old when she started this journey. Her first race was in San Francisco, where her parents flew out to see her cross the finish line.
She's always been very athletic, extremely, in any sport. So I guess she just likes to stay active. She likes to travel.
Floyd's mother, Jetta, says her daughter just couldn't stop. After that, she went on to complete 5 full marathons in 5 states and half marathons everywhere else.
We did Texas, and we did Florida, then we did Oklahoma.
I thought she was crazy.
It was just like game on after that.
Floyd is now finishing her 50th race at the Detroit Free Press Marathon, with her parents supporting her once again.
I'm super excited about this one. It's an international race. I get to go into Canada. It's going to be so exciting. I can't wait.
And the timing couldn't be better, as she turned 50 on Friday, making it a weekend full of miles and milestones.
That was the main goal, 50 states by my 50th birthday, so it's awesome.
That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Coming up, Eastern European kids learn to fly drones not for fun, but to defend their homes. Why these high-tech lessons could soon play a role in regional security. In Consumer Watch, after-school activities are taking a high-tech turn overseas, as kids in parts of Eastern Europe take drone lessons, not for fun, but to help prepare civilians for potential threats from Russia. Defense officials say the push comes as drone intrusions into NATO airspace are on the rise. The Department of Agriculture says more than 90,000 pounds of MCI Foods prepackaged frozen breakfast burritos have been recalled because they contain eggs that are possibly tainted with listeria. A post by the department says some of the products may have been shipped to schools as part of the National School Lunch and Breakfast Program. The FDA says no illnesses have been reported so far. Institutions have been advised not to serve the wraps and to throw them away. Some top consumer headlines for you. The Federal Aviation Administration is giving Boeing the green light to boost production of its 737 MAX jets. The FAA has capped output at 38 planes a month following a door panel blowout on an Alaska Airlines flight in January 2024. Friday, regulators said Boeing can now increase production to 42 aircrafts per month. The agency says inspectors conducted extensive reviews of Boeing's production lines and will continue direct oversight. Boeing CEO says the company's plans gradual increases every 6 months. each requiring FAA approval. Boeing thanked regulators and suppliers, saying safety and quality remain top priorities. Friday, President Donald Trump signed a proclamation paving the way for higher tariffs on imported trucks, buses, and their parts. It's a move the White House says is aimed at protecting U.S. manufacturing. Beginning November 1st, the tariff rate for medium and heavy-duty trucks and truck parts will jump to 25%, while buses, including school and public transit models, will face a 10% rate. The administration says expectations will apply to vehicles and parts from Mexico and Canada that meet the terms of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, which Trump brokered during his first term. Roughly 42 million Americans are at risk of losing critical food assistance next month amid the government shutdown. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins announced last week the food stamp program will run out of money in 2 weeks. It's not clear whether the Trump administration will step in to find the funds to continue paying benefits, as it had with other priorities. About 1 in 8 Americans receive help buying food through SNAP, which is the formal name for food stamps. More than a dozen states have also been forced to stop accepting new food stamp applications as a result of the looming lack of funding. 2 major French companies, cosmetic giants L'Oreal and luxury group Kering, announced they are entertaining a strategic partnership focused on beauty and wellness. Under the terms, Kering is selling its beauty division to L'Oreal in a deal worth more than $4 billion. This gives the cosmetics company control of House of Creed fragrances and licenses for beauty and fragrance products from Kering's high-end brands, including Gucci, Bottega Veneta, and Balenciaga. The sale is believed to help alleviate some of Kering's high debt. And those are our top consumer stories. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:45 now on this Monday morning, and we are starting with our wind advisory map because we have some for the counties in tan. These will run through 1 o'clock this afternoon, and within this zone, this is where we could get southerly winds gusting upwards of 50 miles an hour. Outside of that zone, still could get those gusts 40 to 45 miles an hour. So again, if you're driving a high-profile vehicle, anything that's susceptible to those winds, especially, of course, on east-west highways, you want to make sure you got a good grip on the wheel. You're paying attention out there because it is going to be breezy as we go through the morning and again into the afternoon hours. Now what we've got is a low pressure off to our southeast. We have a dry cold front to our northwest, and we're sandwiched in between. So that's why we're getting these gusty winds. But as that front approaches, briefly, wind gusts will drop a bit along the frontal boundary, but then they'll pick back up again behind it, this time out of the northwest, gusting upwards of about 25, maybe up to 30. I do think some of these numbers are a little over the top on there for Tuesday morning, but I still think 25, maybe 30 mile an hour wind gusts will be possible. Future track really doesn't have anything to show, but taking off everything else on the map, it does give you a better view of that dry cold front. So couple of clouds possible. I think for the most part we'll have clear skies and of course a dry cold front, meaning there's no rain associated with it, and it's lined up by 5 o'clock from the Will Rogers Turnpike. If it just drove straight northeast into Stockton, that's where that front will be. On the backside of it, again, much cooler weather and some gusty northwest winds, and cooler enough that by tomorrow we are going to only be into the mid to upper 60s across the area. So a little below normal, but certainly nothing to complain about. Overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, even cooler, low mid 40s. So now our lows a bit below normal. Some locations could make it into the upper 30s. We're talking some rural areas out there, some outlying areas. It might get a little chillier, so you want to make sure you're paying attention to that as well. But we'll warm back up again by Wednesday afternoon, looking at highs gradually returning a little closer to normal, back into the low 70s. As for the rest of our day, again, it is going to be breezy, already getting breezy in many areas out there. We're going to go low 50s to start mid 60s by 11 a.m. and wind aside, it's not a bad day, at least clear skies, it's sunny. We'll have those clear skies continuing above normal today. The south winds really helping to bring in some warm air, upper 70s. Again, sustained south winds 20 to 30 with those gusts reaching up to 50 for some of us, 40 to 45 for others. So still breezy one way or the other. Now, these temperatures, take them with a bit of grain of salt, simply because with our broad area, as that cold front pushes through, some of you will be a little cooler than this through the evening. Others will be pretty close to this through the evening until that front passes on through your area. We're back in low mid 40s. Northwest winds, as I mentioned, gusting to 25. They will continue to do so on our Tuesday. Upper 60s, low 70s Wednesday. Get some more rain chances Thursday, Friday. Cools us off a bit for Friday. Our weekend, maybe some clouds. Otherwise, not too shabby out there. More rain chances to start next week. That's a check of your forecast. Got another, we're back more after this.
It's harvest season for soybean farmers, but this year many say there's no one to sell to, as global trade disputes have left prices low and demand even higher.
Brett Forrest spoke with farmers in Colorado who say it's one of the toughest years they've faced and why they're still hanging on to hope for a turnaround.
For soybean farmers like Ryan Hansen, he's got plenty of crop this year, but what he doesn't have is a buyer.
Pretty disappointed. It's not looking good for us.
This harvest, there's a good supply with low demand. High supply worldwide would normally depress prices anyway, but coupled with low demand,
We haven't sold them yet, but it's probably I don't suppose hang on to them very long. The market doesn't look very promising.
that low demand is in part due to tariff and trade disputes between the U.S. and China, who happens to account for around 60% of the world's soybean imports. And according to the Department of Agriculture, China was responsible for more than half of all soybean exports out of the U.S. last year. Now, China is turning to countries like Brazil and Argentina, exacerbating the issue.
What overall is the state of soybean farming here in Colorado, but also the U.S.?
Right now, it's terrible, terrible, and terrible.
That's Rod Hahn. He's part of the United Soybean Board. His family has farmed in Yuma County for over 100 years.
I don't know. I think they taste good.
He began farming soybeans as a rotational crop in 1998. Right now, he's seeing overproduction, lower demand, and large carryover.
That's the amount of the crop that's left after the growing year that's not used and carried over to the next crop year, and that depresses the price.
In Colorado, soybean farming peaked around 2017 with around 19,000 acres of crop. That dropped to 10,000 acres in 2022 due to some farmers shifting to other crops. But Rod Hahn says they're usually good money and good for the soil. Economists like Tatiana Bailey say the tariffs might be generating revenues, though Americans are paying for them and farmer subsidies are likely incoming.
I don't see any reprieve for the soybean farmers at this juncture. The only reprieve, if you will probably be the subsidies, the additional subsidies above and beyond the ones that already exist.
But Rod Hahn thinks there will be a rebound one way or another, since soybeans have a variety of other applications from biodiesel and firefighting foam to tires and milk alternatives.
Farmers are optimists. You go out every year, and no matter what the last year, what was it like, when you go out to plant your crop, hey, that's going to be the best crop you ever planted.
It's such an interesting issue because, as Charlene Patton with the Kansas Soybean Commission always tells us, soybeans have so many uses that you may not expect.
Yeah, and hopefully, like I said, they'll find there are alternative uses for soybeans and things I'm sure will eventually balance out. Certainly hoping so for those farmers. And something that's not too balanced are wind. It's going to be very gusty out there. Wind advisories for the counties in tan through 1 o'clock. Within the wind advisory area, wind gusts could reach upwards of 50 miles an hour out of the south. Outside of that zone, still 40 to 45 mile an hour wind gusts ahead of a dry cold front. Now on the back side of it, those winds ease up just a bit. They start gusting. They're only going to be gusting, say, upwards of 25 miles an hour, and they'll switch out of the northwest back there as well. So that's about it. Now, behind the dry cold front as well, we're cooler tonight and into Tuesday. Take a look. Our highs on Tuesday only into the upper 60s. For the rest of our morning, though, breezy. Low 50s to start, mid 60s by 11 under clear skies. Got another look at your forecast. Wake up recap.
This is your wake up recap for October 20th, your top stories to start your day. More than 150 entries from local schools to first responders and businesses took part in this year's Maple Leaf Parade. Even as some noted smaller crowds due to the weather, the Carthage Chamber of Commerce praised the community for making the event a success, with floats bringing the City of Pure Imagination theme to life. And after the parade, attendees stuck around to enjoy shops, festival activities, and the classic car show. Girard, Kansas hosted a parade of its own as part of its fall festival and homecoming celebration. Coincidentally, on this wet day, the theme was Under the Sea. This parade was a highlight, but certainly not the only event. Other activities scheduled included a Harley show, a tractor pull, a cakewalk, and live music. That's a check of today's Wake Up Recap.
And a reminder, a number of us under wind advisories through 1 o'clock this afternoon. As south winds in those zones could gust upwards of 50 miles an hour. Outside of that, wind gusts still upwards of 40 and sustained winds 20 to 30. Otherwise, though, we're clear and warm. Sunny skies, upper 70s. We have a dry cold front coming through, so some of us will cool back a little faster than that. We'll all be back down. Low mid 40s overnight tonight. Northwest winds gusting to 25. Cooler tomorrow, still breezy, upper 60s. Low 70s Wednesday. Rain chances Thursday and Friday, but again, the big thing today, very windy out there, so be careful.
Yes. Well, pet owners got creative with costumes for an annual Halloween trick-or-treat event in Michigan. The festivities brought hundreds of dressed-up dogs through the Arts District where store owners handed out treats. This year's parade featured special guests, including a cat in a costume and even a baby who joined their furry companion for the spooky celebration.
That's certainly very cool. Some pets I imagine like those costumes, others may not.
Maybe not, but it's certainly cute to look at.
They certainly are. Thanks for joining us. They'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.